Wall Street's anticipating that this FOMC meeting, there's basically zero chance that there will be any kind of movement with the interest rates. So right now it's 97.1% that we will stay put. But what's interesting in June, okay, there's still, at least Wall Street's predicting that there's a 11% chance that Powell may cut rates in June. I think at this point there would be 0% chance that there will be a cut in June. In fact, there's talks about a raise, not a cut at this point. So we'll see. We'll see. This week is going to be absolutely volatile, I believe. And it also really depends on what Powell says. Because if he turns really, really, really hawkish again, that would be really bad. Okay, that's where the volatilities really go kick in. But all these numbers that are coming out will be, I think they'll cause some movement. But you know what? There are a lot of earnings as well, okay, from all the major players, all the big players, okay, Apple, Amazon, AMD, PayPal, Block, you got Coca-Cola, Starbucks, and even Coinbase, Block. You know, they're both crypto related, right? But I think the earnings will foretell a little bit, you know, about what these companies are going through, and more importantly, what they're seeing, right? A lot of companies had spectacular earnings, like Meta has spectacular earnings, but gave a really dire forecast that crashed their stock. So a lot of these companies that are producing commodities, are they going to say the same thing? And same thing with these tech companies. Are they going to say the same thing? I think this will also cause some volatility for this week, seeing how many companies are going to report. So there's that as well. But we do have more ETF news. So now Australia, okay, wants to approve Bitcoin spot ETFs. So that is absolutely fantastic. Okay, the more places that we have Bitcoin spot ETFs, the better. And we know that Hong Kong is ready to go live. I guess it was my mistake. I was hearing that Hong Kong was going to go live with their spot ETFs, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, no, maybe it is. Because I just realized this is from 5 days ago. It's supposed to be this week. So I don't know how that's going to be. I don't know if it's actually started today or not. I need to get updated. But yeah, I thought it was this week, right? And then, of course, now we have Australia wanting to do the same thing. So this could all lead, or both of these and everything else, could all lead to, of course, upwards movement, right? And same thing with the U.S. Like right now, it does seem like the U.S. ETFs have stalled a little bit, okay? And unfortunately, with their stalling, Grayscale is not stalling. Grayscale is still selling, which is the unfortunate situation where, you know, we still have this downward pressure from the ETFs, mostly from one entity, and that's Grayscale, right? But, you know, who knows? Hong Kong and Australia, I don't know when Australia is going to go live, right? They could bring some good volatility, some good price action to Bitcoin in the near future, right? And here's the interesting thing. If you look at number of cryptocurrency users in different regions, you would figure North America is leading. But in fact, North America is among the lowest of the continents. Asia is, what, 3 times higher in terms of number of cryptocurrency users? That's actually quite amazing. That's actually quite amazing. So if Hong Kong turns out to be a huge success, we will see massive amount of retail investors and, more importantly, institutional investors come into Bitcoin and possibly Ethereum, right? Once their ETFs start trading. So we have that to look forward to this week. Hopefully. I need to do more research. I swore that they were going to go live this week, but maybe they haven't yet, but we'll see. Here's the thing. Even though this article is looking at Bitcoin ETF slowdown, right? You could argue ETF slowdown or just Bitcoin slowdown, okay? And many people feel like, hey, this is now the beginning of a negative trend. Maybe Bitcoin has hit its peak for this year, and we're only going to see downtrends from here, okay? Some people are thinking that. I am not one of those people because I don't believe that where we are in this cycle and where we are overall, is going to make Bitcoin pause permanently and have a non-existent cycle, right? That is not the case. That's not the case. There will be times. I mean, seriously, it seems like it's so dire right now. It seems like, oh, Bitcoin has been going down forever. I think most people just have short-term memories and didn't look back maybe 3 months ago or 6 months ago, and people have forgotten how dire it was before when we were hovering at 30,000 or 40,000. And the simple fact is this: we already broke 2021 highs, and we broke it several times. And we were just at 70,000 just a few weeks ago. So where we are right now is not so bad, not so dire. The whole market is not crashing down to let's just say to 2022 levels, okay? Or even 2023 levels, okay? There will be times where Bitcoin becomes stagnant and comes down a little bit. Some retracements may happen, right? But this is not a negative trend. And some people, I think, are starting to feel like, oh yeah, we're in a negative trend and it's been happening forever. No, it has not. Okay? And here's a really good telling story. And what I always say, why does Bitcoin go up? Well, it's just a matter of supply and demand, right? You have more demand than supply, the price goes up. It's really that simple. So if you look at all the major exchanges and then look at how much have exited those exchanges in the last 30 days and how much have exited year to date since the beginning of the year, that's a telling story. Okay, if you look at year to date, maybe Bybit, Kraken, OKX, and Gemini actually had a little bit of inflows. But if you look at someone like Coinbase, year to date, that's staggering. Year to date, they have 131,513 outflow. And where do you think all that Bitcoin went to? Well, the ETFs and the institutions, right? Bitfinex also saw a huge outflow since the beginning of the year. Even Binance and Bitflyer and Bitstamp, all other exchanges, right? So overall, year to date, all the exchanges have lost about 150,000 Bitcoin. So the supply continues to go down. It's really that simple. The supply is diminishing from the exchanges. And since we had a halving event, that means the inflation rate of Bitcoin is now at half of before. There's only 450 being produced per day rather than 900. 450 per day. Think about it. Being distributed across the world, that's so little. So ultimately, Bitcoin is going to continue to go higher because there's more demand than supply. It's really that simple. And then there's other things, macro things, that makes Bitcoin's price go even higher. For example, inflation. That's a very confusing thing, but people don't realize when you have high inflation, it causes everything to get more expensive, including assets. So if we have hyperinflation, it makes everything expensive, food more expensive, services more expensive, houses and cars more expensive, and it's going to make Bitcoin more expensive as well. And there's nothing that out appreciates Bitcoin in the long term. There's nothing.